Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. I would love for you to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you are notified of all of my future videos. Today I am going to be talking about my September goals as well as how I did in August. So let's get started. My priority in August was rhythm, and that is mainly because we were all in on all of our subjects for homeschooling in August. We did start our slow start at the end of July, which we do every year, but by August 9th, I think it was, we were fully into all of our subjects. And so my priority for August was to just get into a good rhythm, figure out how long the subjects were going to take, see if there were adjustments that needed to be made, etc. And I feel really good about that. I feel like we have done a really good job with getting back to homeschool. My kids are pleased with how things are going, and so if they're happy, that makes me happy. First, I'm going to go through the monthly action items. The first thing was Jack's birthday, which we did celebrate, and he had a great time. We ended up having a bowling party with a few of his friends, and it was a lot of fun. It was a wonderful day celebrating Jack. I can't believe he is 11. That is really crazy. The next thing on my list for monthly action items was pantry organization, which I did not do. If you watch my fall refresh video, you'll know this is something that I really do want to get to. This fall, I need to put more shelving in it and just really get it organized. It is not, I don't know when it is going to actually be organized. I have hopes, but I'm not sure how realistic those hopes are. The next monthly action item was to make all of my yearly appointments. This is part of my awesome adulting goal, and I did most of that. I still need to make an eye appointment. Everything is really scheduling out way far in advance, so I'm hoping that I can get to it, or I can get in this fall. We will see. The next thing on my list was to do my fall refresh, which I did, and then my planning day, which I gave myself credit for, although I ended up taking most of the last week in August to do my planning day. Usually I have it on a specific day, and that is the day where I do all of my goal prep, all of my homeschool prep for the next month, thinking about our monthly calendar. All of that stuff I usually do on one day, and it usually does not take me a full day. This year, for some reason, I was very contemplative about a lot of different things. I spent a lot of time writing lists in this little notebook to transfer into my various planners, and so I did finish my planning for September, but I did not do it just on one day, but I did give myself credit for it because it is done. The next thing on my list was for my Growing Towns in House goal, and that was to launch my workshop of getting out of the public school mindset. This is a workshop that I had done several years ago at a few different homeschool conferences, and then I did open it as a brand new workshop last year, and there was a lot of interest in starting it again because in my state we have a lot of people that are just new homeschoolers, and I think it's wonderful. But when you are a new homeschooler, you often are thinking about public school and you're thinking about public school standards and making sure that you are teaching your kid what their fifth grade public school peers are learning. But homeschooling is very different in that you work at your child's ability level instead of at whatever arbitrary line the public school wants to put your child on. So changing your thinking is a challenge at the beginning of homeschooling. And so that's why I do that workshop. We had a great workshop. I talked to a lot of new homeschoolers that were super stressed out, and I think that this definitely helped them. The next thing on my list was monthly conferences with my kids, and that is part of my life-giving homeschool goal, and we did do that. I like to have a monthly conference with the kids. monthly. Sometimes I just wonder why I say things like that. But the purpose of it is to connect with my kids one-on-one to see if they are having challenges in specific subjects, or if they have an interest that they really need new resources for, or if they need a change, or whatever it is. I like to find out what's going well and what struggles we are having. And so we did do that, and my kids have all been pretty pleased with how school has been going. Lucy, I think, is having the hardest time because she is so used to having all the free time in the world to just play as she wants, and I'm incorporating a little bit more math and reading and handwriting this year. So she's struggling a little bit, but she does a really good job when she puts her mind to it. It's just sometimes that you know, she has other things that she would rather be doing, which I totally understand. And then the last thing on my monthly action items was back to homeschool traditions, which we have done most of those. We did not take a first day of school picture. I did do a first day of school vlog. If you're interested in that, I'll leave a link down below. But I think that I will probably do a first day of school picture on the first day of public school. I should have done it, you know, last month, but I didn't. So there you go. For weekly action items, homeschool planning / Sunday planning, I did do that every week. I put it on my list because it keeps me accountable to check off the box, and just reminds me when I put my power sheets up on a shelf in my office, and so I see my tending list every single time I go out of my office all day, every day. And so it's just a good reminder. So the homeschool planning, I did do weekly calendar setup with Emma and Jack on Mondays. I did sort of do this. We have not gotten into a good routine of getting what they need into their calendars. I'm going over their lists with them, but we haven't figured out what the most important things to put in their own calendars are yet. So it is something that we're working on. But we were meeting every Monday to just go over what we had for the week ahead. That really helps my kids. They want to know what is coming up. They don't like to not know what's going on. So they like to have all of their work in front of them for the week so that they can work as they feel inclined. So then food prep and lunch ideas, I did do that every week. We've been doing a little bit better. I've been in kind of a cooking rut, I think partly because we had a couple of weeks of 95-degree weather. We don't have air conditioning in the downstairs. We just have it in our bedroom upstairs. So cooking is not fun when it is 95 degrees, obviously. So I was kind of in a let's order takeout phase for a little while. But we are getting most of our food prep done. We, meaning I'm getting most of my food prep done, making sure that I have little snack things that are easy for the kids to grab, as well as meals that are easy for me to put together, because I have noticed, especially as we've started school, if I don't get something in the crock pot in the morning or have things made ahead of time, it's very hard for me to get dinner on the table at a reasonable hour. Also because after a full day of school and then cleaning and a little bit of work, I don't have any desire to make a meal. I just want to sit down. But I have been doing that weekly. I'm going to get into a better rhythm as we go through the fall. I know it will be easier because I'll be able to put like a big pot of soup on Sundays and then have it for several days during the week. We eat a lot of leftovers and my family doesn't complain about it, thankfully. So that is kind of what I do. And I'm looking forward to having more root vegetables from our CSA. It makes preparing meals a little bit easier when I can just like roast some squash or potatoes and carrots, etc. we eat very seasonally in my house. I try to mainly use what the CSA gives us with a little bit of protein. The next thing on my weekly action items was Townsend House backend work, which I have been doing slowly but surely. Every week I do a little bit. It is not a lot. I'm usually maybe spending 30 minutes, maybe an hour of time. And it's usually on the weekends when I just try and go in and do a little bit of work. Sometimes I wonder if I should just delete everything and start over, because there's so much stuff on there. When you have been writing for 10 years, going on 11 years, it's a lot. But I'm still making progress, so that's good. And then for my daily action items and habits, the first one was my morning routine, which I've done a pretty good job at, and that is because I have to be up for homeschool. I have to be up a little bit earlier than my kids to make sure that everything is ready for the day. And I have been really good about making sure that we are ready for the day, setting things out on that morning. I know some people do it the night before. I just don't. I'm not a good night. I don't do a lot of prep work at night. My brain is just fried, and so I just am not able to. I'm much better early in the morning. Evening routine, I did this about 2/3 of the time. I am still working on figuring out what I actually want my evening routine to look like. Right now it is still, brushing my teeth, doing all of that hygiene stuff, and then a little bit of journaling, like a couple of sentences just about the day, and then reading. We have also been doing some walks in the evening. It is not consistent though, and I'm not sure if I want it to be consistent or not. My kids enjoy playing with their dad at night, and that's a time that they really value. It's a relationship building time for them. And so when we go on a walk, it's fine and everybody enjoys it, but then they still want the same amount of time to play with dad when we all get home, and that is not always happening. So we'll see. Reading, I have done every day this month, which if you saw my last goals video, I had read every day up until 4th of July weekend this year, and actually it had started last October of 2020 is when I started my daily reading streak on my Kindle, and then I broke it over 4th of July weekend because we were visiting with family and doing other things, and I ended up having a very choppy July with reading. But I did read every day in August, not nearly as long as I had been reading earlier in the year, because we were getting ready for homeschool, and I have switched to reading a lot of the kids' books for homeschool because we're literature-based homeschoolers, and me sitting down and reading aloud to them takes a lot of time. It takes a longer time for me to read aloud and ask questions and have discussion than obviously if I'm just reading to myself. And also because of that morning routine that I'm trying to have every morning, I am not staying up nearly as late to read. And then going for a walk every day, I've done that. Closing my Apple rings, I started the month out really great, and then it just fell off. I don't know why. I am moving all day. I don't sit down a lot, but my heart rate is not up enough to close my exercise ring unless okay, for instance, if we go for a walk for 30 minutes in the morning with the kids, because we're walking so slowly, mainly because of Lucy and just like stopping and such, I don't get a 30-minute exercise time. I only get maybe 5 minutes. So I'm still out walking, but it's not closing my rings because I'm not walking fast enough. And sometimes, especially this month with the amount of school that we've been doing, I have not put in as much time to work out myself during the day because I just need to be concentrating on time with the kids. And then, like I said, at night, I can't do anything. I probably should work on that. It's a self-limiting thought for me to say I can't do things at night, but I probably could if I worked hard enough at it. But I'm not at that point that I want to. So, and then my main homeschool network check-in I did every day. And then my 30-minute tidy I have done almost every day. Some of the weekends I don't, like on Sundays, I don't tend to do that, but most every other day I do. And so I am pleased with my progress. It was not a whole lot of goal-oriented stuff. The one main thing that I wanted to get done, the pantry organization, did not get done. And it is what it is. I have to accept when I do not put in the time. If I decide to take more time to just relax or work on self-care, which I don't really have on my list as much, I'm okay with that. And you have to be okay with the choices that you make too. We did have several things come up in August that I did not expect to happen. One was car issues. It seems like whenever we feel like we're in a good rhythm, something happens with the car. My husband's muffler fell off. He got a flat tire. He was really struggling for a week. And then that meant that I did not have a vehicle for, a week and a half while we were trying to get his car in to be fixed. Okay, so now on to September. I don't usually put encouraging words on my tending list, not because I don't find words encouraging. In fact, I love finding nice quotes and stuff to read and to remember, but it's not usually something that I think about to put on my tending list. It doesn't motivate me to look at my tending list more. But I did see a quote by Julie Bogart of Brave Writer that I really liked, so I did write it down. It said, "Do not judge a day or week or month gone wrong. You have tomorrow, tomorrow, and tomorrow." And that's kind of how I feel overall about my goals. I used to get really stressed when I would not finish things in a timely manner or when I thought I should be able to get them done. And almost always it is because of some sort of an outside influence, whether it was my kids getting sick or my husband getting sick or, car troubles or something happened that was kind of just out of my control. And then I would have to deal with that. And it's very easy when things like that happen to sort of spiral and be discouraged because you're not getting things done that you planned on getting done. But I thought, to remember that even if you're having a bad week, you can start tomorrow and start fresh. And it's really changing your thinking and making sure that you realize that even if you're having a bad season, you can still continue to grow and move on. It's all about perspective. Then my priority this month is fall traditions, and September is not going to be, I say it's not going to be a super busy month. It's probably going to be a very busy month. But I like to focus on fall traditions, and that is my main priority for September. And then my monthly action items are really kind of based around those fall traditions. First, it's go to the fair. The fair is something that we do every year. We did not do last year because obviously it was not, there was no fair last year. And the previous year, this particular fair that we usually go to, my kids were sick in 2019, and then we were listing our house at that same time when the fair was going on, so we weren't able to go. We did go to a different fair that year, but this particular fair is one that we have gone to since Emma, well, forever for me, but since Emma was 3 months old, we would take a picture in front of the giant pumpkins, and that's a tradition that I really enjoy. Apple picking and preserving is another tradition that we have, and I'm excited about that. I don't know how the apples are going to be this year because it has been so hot. Hopefully the end of September we'll get to go apple picking. Pantry redo. This has been on my list for like 3 months in a row, and I am crossing my fingers. I did tell my husband that I need some new shelving in there. So hopefully he'll be able to work on that at some point this month, and then I can go and get some little baskets and make it neat and tidy, which is what I need, because when I open it up, I can get what I need, but I just don't like seeing the mess. The next thing on my monthly action items is food, medicine, cleaning supplies, inventory, and stock up. This is just to make sure that I have all the things that we need for the fall going into the winter. It's something that I do. It's just a normal thing for me to do in the fall, but it is part of my life-giving home goal. Just making sure that we have everything that we need. It makes it a lot easier if I already have it in the house instead of a kid having a fever in the middle of the night and having to drive to Walmart to get some Tylenol. But hopefully we'll stay healthy. So, but I do need to get all of that stuff. Q4 budget, I need to look at, and then I also need to start 2022 budget. I'm into financial planning. I know a lot of people don't like that kind of stuff, but I really love it. And I want to go through and try and adjust some of our financial goals, and just looking at where we are with our debt payoff and all of those things. It's something that I enjoy doing, but it is part of my awesome adulting goal as well. And then the next thing, birthday, Thanksgiving, and Christmas lists. October is a big birthday month for us. It's Lucy's birthday, and my niece and nephew both have birthdays in October. So I need to make birthday lists, Thanksgiving and Christmas lists. I try to do that early. Thanksgiving tends to be the same thing every year. I do have a little notebook where I have like tabbed years, and I keep everything for Thanksgiving and Christmas, like what we get for people for presents, cards that I send out, menus, all of that stuff. I do have a notebook that keeps all of that. Makes it easier when I can see what I've done in years past, so we don't like duplicate gifts, especially. Which we may have done in the past, I'm not sure. But trying to get those lists situated ahead of time is really helpful for me. I am a planner, so planning things well in advance is something that I enjoy doing. Whether or not I actually take the next step of getting the things that we need that are on those lists, that's always up in the air. First day of public school, fun day. I think we're gonna try and go out to breakfast and do a couple of fun things on the first day of public school because we're homeschoolers. And then the last thing on my list is my planning day for September, and I wrote 9/23 last month. I did not do it on the day that I had it planned. I want to make sure that I do that this month. We'll see how it goes. For my weekly action items, I have winter prep, which is similar kind of to my food, medicine, inventory, stock up stuff. That is an actual monthly action item that I just need to do. But my winter prep is taking care of the garden. We have to remove some garden boxes. I need to rototill in there and put down amendments, and then like build some stuff for our compost pile. I also want to do food preservation, plant garlic. So I have it as like a weekly action item. So each week I can sort of concentrate on something winter prep related. Sunday planning for my regular calendar, and then I have Sunday planning for homeschool. And the reason that I have these as two separate things is because I usually know what I'm doing, but I need that more accountability. There were a couple of weeks that I did do homeschool planning, weekly homeschool planning, but I did it on Monday, and that sets my week back, obviously, if I am doing it on Monday instead of on the weekends. I know some people do it on Friday afternoons. I am not able to do that, mainly because I'm wiped out for the week, and so if I plan on Friday afternoons, I will plan very, very little to do the following week because I'm tired. But Sunday, I'm usually refreshed from the weekend, so it works out well for me. And And it's also helps that, you know, the kids have youth group on Sundays. So it gives me a little bit of quiet to work on that. The next thing is Townsend House backend stuff, which has been a weekly action item for months at this point, and it does work for me to just do a little bit each week. And then the last one is food prep and lunch prep. I talked about this in some video recently about how I like to pack lunches for my kids, even though we are homeschoolers. And the reason is because then they are not asking me for food all the time. They can just open up their lunchbox and have whatever we have planned for the day, instead of them asking me or taking a break to go get something out of the closet, because what ends up happening is they will go get something out of the closet and then they won't come back for 30 minutes. They are still accomplishing all of their school, but it sets the day back. And then when they're working later in the day, it is more challenging for me. I'm still having my homeschool block of time where I am all in with homeschool, but Emma and Jack especially have individual subjects that they are able to work on by themselves. And if they take a lot of breaks and then they are working until 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, it makes it harder for me, because I'm trying to work around them, and they do have random questions at some point. And yeah, so if I am able to prep their lunch, or they're able to prep their lunch in the morning, pack it in a lunch box, and they are good to go for the day, we do better. And then the other thing is food prep. I have always done food prep like on Mondays, but I really got out of that habit this past year. I think because it's weird, because I have always cooked all of our meals for the most part, but this past year I really got sick of cooking, and we started getting more takeout. And I don't know why, because it wasn't like we always went out to eat before, because we didn't. I've always made our meals, and I don't know if it was just because we weren't getting together with friends, so everything was so monotonous. We usually would have like fellowship with our friends and do meals together and such, and that just didn't happen last year, and it hasn't happened as much this year either. There have been some occasions, but I just got out of the habit of prepping food. And I think that if I just have beans in the fridge for the week, if I cook rice ahead of time, if I chop up my vegetables and have them stored in the fridge so it's easy to just grab stuff, it makes making meals more fun for me, because I don't have to spend so much time prepping the food. I don't do meal plans because I never want to make what I have on my meal plan list, which again, I know I should get over that, but there you go. That is my life. So then my daily action items / habits, I have read, walk, my PM routine, Bible. I want to spend more time reading my Bible this month. Last month, I spent a lot of time doing Write the Word, which I love. But when I do that, it's much shorter sections of the Bible, and I really enjoy reading large chunks of the Bible at once. It helps me to understand it better because I have more context around the different verses. So I want to get into a better routine of reading my Bible instead of just doing my Write the Word. Main Homeschool Network check-in, walk with the kids, and read with the kids. Read with the kids is I read with the kids every day because of school, but sometimes our read alouds slip because we are busy doing other things. I still get them done, and we are way ahead in our read alouds this year, but I like to put it on the list just to give myself a little more accountability to keep up with what I need to keep up with. So those are all of my action items / habits for September. I'm excited about the fall. I'm excited that I've accomplished so much this year that that I had originally wanted to accomplish. And so I think that things are going well, and I really like the goals that I chose this year. I don't know if it's because they're not really completion goals, it's more working towards something or just bettering something, like the rhythms in my home, like the way our home works or how our homeschool works, making sure that my kids are getting what they need, and loving on them. It's been a really good year for me. I know it has not been for everybody, and there have been a lot of challenges this year. I'm not saying that every month is super rosy and easy. It's not. But as far as my goal progress goes, I think adjusting my expectations or learning to do that several years ago has really helped me feel better about the progress that I do make in my goals. Just making sure that you consider your time and know whether or not you really have time for that particular goal. I think that is really important to assess each month. And yeah, so that is September. I cannot believe we are in September. Have you seen that meme of Captain America? I think it was Captain America Winter Soldier. I will put the meme right here. I'll move over so I can leave space for it. And it's about, you are still thinking, you're still trying to process 2020, and here's 2022 right around the corner. So it's crazy. We are in September. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you watching these goal videos. I know they're not my more popular videos, but I think it has been very helpful for me to do these videos this year. I think that it has helped me make sure that I am working on all of the things that I put in my tending list and to work towards my goals, because it has become accountability for me to post these videos each month. So thank you guys so much for watching. I would love it if you would give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.